Hi everyone, my name is Riley Mills. I'm currently a senior here at Millersville and I'm going to be doing a training video on the importance of patience in childcare. Quickly, before I get into the actual topic of why patience is so important, I decided to add in my background. I've been babysitting for the past 10 years, so since I was in middle school. It makes me sound very old. I've been a camp counselor for the past 4 summers. Summer of 2020, so already a hectic summer to begin with. I was placed in a special needs classroom at the camp I was working at. I was typically by myself when working with this group of kids just because of keeping numbers down of people and enclosed spaces and the start of COVID and everything. The children ranged in ages between 4 and 7. I think 7 was my oldest, maybe 8. Definitely I'm very grateful to have that experience. I learned a lot from that experience. I'm going to be sharing some of those tips later on. Next spring, I have an internship working at a middle school in Lancaster, which I'm very excited about. And after I graduate in the spring, I'm hoping to work as a school social worker. I'm also planning on going for my master's to further my education in school social work. This is a picture of me this past summer. For anyone who might be a little worried, I have all of the parents, sorry, I could not think of the word, approval to photograph their children. That sounds really creepy. But yeah, I obviously took the picture and it was placed in a brochure, I think, for the camp. I made sure that it was okay that I was sharing this in this PowerPoint. My boss gave me the okay. I did work at Princeton University summer camp this past summer, and I had so much fun, and I definitely miss my group of kids. Some learning objectives that you should be able to learn after watching this video is the importance of patience in a childcare setting, obviously. How to practice patience as an adult, the benefits of having patience when working with kids, some techniques that professionals have approved to be effective when limiting stress and anxiety, working with children. I'm also going to talk a lot about classroom management and how it is crucial to have that structure when working with kids. And finally, some helpful tips that I picked up from working with kids over the past 10 years. The definition of patience, if you didn't know, is the capacity to accept or tolerate delay, trouble, or suffering without getting angry or upset. That is from Merriam-Webster. Obviously, patience is crucial when working with children. Some of the benefits of having patience when working with kids are the following. The first being modeling good behavior. Everything is a learning opportunity for children. They're constantly absorbing everything around them. Their brains are quite literally sponges. So if you're modeling good patient behavior, they're going to model it back. It also helps prevent burnout. So on the flip side, if you aren't modeling maybe good behavior, you're getting upset and flustered over either a small situation or big situation, kids are going to deem that to be acceptable. They're going to feel out the energy that you're putting out, and it just could make a stressful situation worse. So you obviously just want to keep your cool, and maybe later on when you aren't with the group of kids, you can let out your stress some other way, healthily, hopefully. You also get to learn some new perspectives. As I said, it's a learning opportunity for kids. It can be a learning opportunity for you. I'm one to not be quick at punishing a kid for not following directions or doing something wrong immediately. I kind of like to sit them down and figure out why they decided to do what they did or not do what they did. And maybe they just saw the situation differently, and 9 times out of 10 they did. You can teach them why maybe it wasn't so appropriate, and you can give them an example of what to do later on if this were to occur again. Obviously, it also work as like a first warning type deal. If they continue to repeat the bad behavior, then that's when maybe the situation becomes a little bit more serious. With that, it can help foster respect. Again, kids are going to feed off of what you're putting out. They're going to treat you the way that you're treating them. So if you're getting angry and upset constantly, kids are not going to respect you. They're going to probably get annoyed with you because you're just being negative. And with that comfortable environment, some kids, you don't know what their home life is like, and you might be one of the only adults that they feel comfortable talking with. So you want to keep that, I want to say openness, I can't think of the right word, availability for them to be able to talk to you and maybe just talk about something that's making them uncomfortable. And obviously, you as the adult can step in and make the situation right. So they all kind of intertwine with each other, but that's an overall of some benefits of having patience with working with kids. Obviously, there's a lot more, but these are the basic ones I thought I should include. Moving into that, I'm going to talk about what classroom management is and how it is very important to have when working with kids. The official definition from the APA is the classroom management is the process by which childcare workers / teachers in schools create and maintain appropriate behavior of students in a classroom setting. Obviously, if you aren't having structure when working with your group of kids, things can get messy fast. You want to have that routine and, again, structure, because it will limit room for error in the future. Some benefits of having classroom management are that sorry, my notes just disappeared, can decrease negative behaviors, it can increase time spent engaged in activities, can increase meaningful learning, whether that be, like actual educational learning or just learning from a new situation, can facilitate social and emotional growth, and classroom management is important again because chaotic classroom, environments are a large issue for teachers and can contribute to high teacher stress and burnout rates. Again, going back into when I was talking about the benefits of patience, you want to limit room for unnecessary, I cannot get my words out today, stress and anxiety. So yes, some basic ways to structure your classroom management. Obviously, it's different for everyone, and there's a bunch of different situations. Sorry, they are mowing the lawn out there. Could not have timed that better. But some basic outline questions that I found online from the APA New Times is: what behaviors are required to reach the goals of learning activities? What implications does a particular learning activity have for student roles? And how will the teacher prepare students to take on these roles? So for example, this past summer, as I mentioned, I worked at Princeton summer camp. Each week, I didn't necessarily have the same group. I might have been working with the same age, but kids were always registered for different weeks, so it was constantly changing. I would always establish the rules and boundaries that was placed in the camp and that I was expecting out of my group particularly. I would also allow the kids to step in and maybe give some rules that they would like to see. They always liked being hands-on with that and felt that they had a part in what their camp was going to look like. Obviously, it's a lot different working as a teacher and working at camp. Camp's a lot more relaxed, but still you want to have the kids enjoy their time at camp. It's supposed to be fun, so you don't want to be making it negative and you being upset and screaming at them and punishing them constantly. It's going to make your job worse and make their experience worse. So finally, I'm just going to add some tips and helpful notes that I picked up since I've worked with children for a hot minute now. Again, as I said, you want to listen to the child. You don't want to be so quick to judge and punish them for something that you see as that doesn't make any sense. Something that you don't see appropriate. Obviously, they could have a different perspective. Also, within the realm of if your child is having a tantrum, which I've experienced so many tantrums over something so small, it often helps if you try and redirect them. Especially when I was working with the special needs camp, I would always have crayons and scrap paper with me, so if someone did maybe get upset over something, you could just try and redirect them, be like, oh, could you actually draw this for me? It's really important. It'll be a big help, and it kind of takes their focus off of why they were upset, and 9 times out of 10, they'll forget. You also want to set small goals, so as I mentioned, me establishing the rules with my group this past summer, and honestly every summer, you want to, I guess, have a visual of the structure that your children are going to be in. Don't feel like that's the right word either, but you know what I'm trying to say. It also helps if you have rewards. Kids love rewards. Even, I think it was 2 summers ago, the camp I was working at, we were allowed to bring in candies and stuff. Obviously, you have to pay attention to allergies and stuff, which is a whole different topic, but this past summer, we weren't allowed to bring in treats just because of COVID and a lot of other rules on university grounds. But maybe I would give them, if we were having a good day for our last time block, I would allow them to pick whatever game or activity they wanted to do, or if like you could work it out, or if I could work it out with my boss, maybe give them like 5 extra minutes at swim. Just little rewards that they can look forward to, so like they have motivation to listen to you and have good behavior. Also, don't be afraid to ask for help. Again, working with kids is extremely exhausting. So if you are getting to that point where you're about to boil over, I've had I've had a handful of times where like I just needed to take a 5-minute breather. Obviously, if you have the facilities or the extra help to have someone else step in for you for a little bit, do it. You don't want to hurt your mental health anymore. I've also learned that if I am getting super overwhelmed and maybe I can't step away from my group for 5 minutes, I've learned this in a lot of my psychology classes here at Millersville. It's called the 3 breathe technique. So you inhale for 3 seconds, hold your breath for 3 seconds, exhale for 3 seconds. And you keep doing that until, you can feel a drop in your anxiety and stress. It works 10 out of 10 times. So yeah, that's just a little tip I thought to add in. And also self-care. Obviously that's outside of work or volunteering, however you're working with kids. Treat yourself, again, it can be overwhelming, and this is going a little bit longer than I expected. But these are my references. So yeah, that is my training on patience in childcare and why it's so important and ways that you can practice your patience as an adult. So yeah, thank you for watching.